Welcome to Royal Legacy, where we will explore the rich athletic history and deep family connections of BYU sports. Join us as we honor the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future of the BYU Cougars. Here's your host, Lauren McClain.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Lauren McClain, and this is Royal Legacy, where we dive deep into the family connections of BYU sports. Joining me today are husband and wife, former BYU football player Bronson Kaufusi, and former BYU soccer player Hilary Kaufusi. Thank you so much for being here with me, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
This is going to be really fun. Some marriage counseling, perhaps. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be awesome. You two have been married 11 years. Is that right?
Yes. What the heck?
That's crazy. Yeah, and you have three kids in 11 years. Yeah. Kalea, Taika, and a new baby girl, Maya, who's just a few months old, who's here with us today. Yep. Very blessed to have her. Do you guys even remember your lives before becoming parents, Hilary?
I do.
You're like, oh, I do. I long for them.
It was so fun. So fun. But no, it's weird. I'm like, I feel like I've had my kids with me forever. Like, it's like, oh, sad. They missed life with us. But
it's weird,
it's
though,
great.
Huh?
Yeah.
What about for you, Bronson?
You know what? I have forgotten.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes I remember. I'm like, oh, remember when we used to just like go to movies whenever we wanted?
I know. I miss the movies.
Take a nap whenever we wanted.
It just more feels like a whole different lifetime,
totally,
right? Like just a different life once you have kids.
Yeah,
it's true.
What's one of the biggest ways becoming a parent has changed you, Bronson?
Ooh, man, this changed me a lot, I would say. I feel like every day I learned something from our little kids, our little kiddies, especially. I mean, our oldest, Taika, he's 5, and he's just gone to sports, and so he's really starting to love it, and it's fun to see. Last year he didn't want to play; he's crying his eyes out, and then this year,
to be a T-Rex in the soccer field.
He was a T-Rex.
Yes, I love it.
Awesome. This year he's starting to figure it out a little bit, and
and
I feel like even just watching him play. And just have fun out there, and when he falls or something, gets back up, and it just like reminds me, man, there's so many lessons that not only he teaches me, but like sports teaches, and
totally.
I don't think you realize it when you're growing up,
right?
And then like as a parent, you're like, oh man, good thing I played sports, learned all these lessons, and I'm watching him do it, and I'm like, oh man, he's still got a lot of lessons to learn.
I know, and I want to get into that a little bit later, the lessons that you learned from sports that you want to implement into your own kids. But, Hilary, what would you say? What's one of the biggest ways becoming a parent or a mother has changed you?
Oh, just like Bronson said, there's so many ways. I can't even think of all of them. But just unconditional love, first off, just like feeling that love for your child and seeing and having so much patience. I thought I had a lot of patience for Bronson, right? When you're married, I'm like, this guy.
Gotta have it.
But then you have your kids and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta have more patience.
You gotta dig deep.
Dig deep for some of those days. But then just seeing him do new things, like Bronson's saying with Taika with soccer and just sports, just seeing him do new things, and I just love watching that. It's so much fun seeing your kids try new things and love new things.
And it really is hard to describe.
It is.
It's something that's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Hilary, you're 6 feet tall. Bronson, you're 6'8". Do you guys already have people reaching out wanting to be your kids' agents? For real, though. I mean, I know people probably joke about it, but
definitely people joke about it. Like Coach Pope, when he was here, he always like, hey, Taika, I need him playing basketball.
Literally the day he was born.
Literally. I think he texts Bronson.
Yeah. Yeah, he texts me and is like, hey, just so you know, I'm the first offer. Just so
hey, which he still could be, right?
It's
very true. Kentucky, you never know.
It's very true.
Serious.
Yeah, he was cracking me up. We were laughing so hard. And honestly, he's not saying that because of me. He's saying that because we go over to his house and play sports and different games against his daughters.
Girls, yeah.
Really?
And he watched Hilary compete.
Oh, man.
And he's like, man, she's the real athlete.
I I try to keep up with Bronson. That's the best way to describe it. And the whole Kaufusi family.
Right,
it's very competitive.
Oh my
know.
gosh, I can't even imagine.
In fun ways.
No. We just talked about this. We should talk about this. Right
Let's
now.
hear it. No.
So this is hilarious. So Hillary and I. So I just met Hilary.
No. He's like,
I just came home.
know.
I just came home from my mission like a week before fall camp.
Yeah.
And we start hanging out, right? Because she's in her fall camp.
This was like. Yeah.
How long had I known you? I think
this was before I saw you play football.
She never saw me play a sport.
Take that in here.
Even growing up. So she's like, hey, I want to race you.
Well, he's a big guy, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on the soccer team. I'm fast.
Yes.
And I'm like, do you want to race?
Yeah. We're at her house, and so I'm like, where do you want to race? She's like, on the street.
On the street.
And it was like dark outside.
It was
Wow.
dark.
And so
Only
the lights are on. So we walk
street.
outside, and there's the moon and the stars. And then Hilary wants to race. So
Because I was
I'm
like,
You have other thoughts, but she wants to race.
she wants to race. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And she's like, so we're going to race down to the next light post. And I'm sitting there like, okay, here, I'll give you 10-yard head start.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, don't give me that.
That's what she
Come
said. I know.
I love it, Hilary. I
I'm
love
better
it.
than that.
Hey, but we had a good race.
Wait, how did it turn out?
I got
How did it turn out?
smoked.
And you were 3 days home from your mission? Is that what you said?
No,
It was like,
a few weeks
Okay.
yeah, maybe a month. Because
Maybe 4
he hadn't
weeks.
started, you hadn't played yet.
in a game.
In a
we were in
game.
fall camp.
Okay.
So I'm like, this guy's like, well, okay,
She's
he's
never
a
seen
big
me
guy.
do
I don't
any-
know.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
seen me do
you know?
anything besides walk.
And we played darts, and I'm like, okay, well, my family's a big dart.
That's
like, we love
funny.
playing darts, so we're competitive. So I'm like, okay, I think that's probably what it led to. I beat
Yeah.
you in darts, and I got a little overconfident. I was like, let's race.
I got
I can
this.
beat you.
Yeah.
That would have been a
enough, no.
great story if you did too.
I know. I would never have let him live that down. That's
It's
Oh,
true.
man.
It's true.
Except I did beat him in pickleball like 8 months
Hey.
pregnant, so I'll take that.
What a girl.
It's true. She's very good.
And how did you handle that? How do you handle being beaten by your wife?
You know what? I love it because it really means that, our kids are just going to be that much more athletic.
It keeps things interesting too,
Competitive.
right?
It is, yeah, for
everything's a
sure.
competition.
It is. Even our little girl's picked up on it. She's like, every time
Yeah.
she gets in the car, I want to race putting my seatbelt on. And she's 3. And so when Taika beats her, she starts crying and makes everyone take her seatbelt off and do it again.
It's true.
What other things do you guys compete in? So you mentioned pickleball, you raced, you played darts. Like now that you're married to
anything.
3 kids, what do you compete in?
Oh, we used to have some showdowns at, what's that game? The with the little circle?
The little
Spike
circle.
ball.
Oh.
Spike
Oh,
ball
yeah.
We used to
was
do, so 2 on 2.
With Corb.
With our
With
brother,
Corb,
my brother
oh, man.
Corbin. They're intense. And then Hillary's like, oh, you know what? Let's just do 1-on-1. So we made rules to make it 1-on-1 pickleball.
No,
And she's
one-on-one.
diving all over the place
spike ball.
into the goal.
Spike
Oh
ball.
yeah,
One-on-one spike
sorry,
ball.
1-on-1
Yeah,
spike
yeah.
ball.
That's hard.
It is hard. But the
I'm
inner
drenched in
goalie,
sweat.
goalie and me, I'm taking those
Yeah.
low shots.
I think I'd
on
put
these
my
big
money on
guys.
Hilary.
She was good. No, she's really good.
Getting the 6'10" Corbin.
hard to get
just
down there.
Trying to get, yeah.
I feel like
Low
Corbin
ball.
would have the disadvantage. Really,
Oh,
in
yeah.
spike ball, like bending
Oh,
down
yeah.
his poor
Totally.
back.
But he's pretty agile. He can get down there.
Well, yeah,
going.
Yeah, especially now. He's leaned out.
Yeah, he's
He's doing a bodybuilding competition on Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's looking really, really cut right now.
Yeah.
Good for him. So
Yeah.
much dedication. So I know the Kaufusi family, extremely competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But Hilary, what about your family growing up? Were you guys competitive?
So I am the youngest. There's 3 of us. My next sibling is 10 and a half years older than me. And then my sister's almost 13 years older
Wow.
than me. So I was almost raised like an only child. And like I was like almost raised like not like a boy with my dad. Like he
funny.
would take me golfing. I would play catch with him in the morning, before school. And so I think my dad got me in sports really young and skied. I think I was 3 years old when I started skiing. But I'm kind of the anomaly in my family. My brother likes to really compete with me. He's the middle child.
Yeah.
But I'm like the anomaly. I'm the tallest in my whole family.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know. I think I just got that competitive. I like to say I was born with it.
Yeah. You probably were. And
Like
how
my
cool.
little girl.
How
Like,
cool
just
that
born with it.
your dad like kind of took you under his wing and taught you all this stuff too.
Just he had me later in life, you know, my mom can get pregnant. So he was just kind of not done with work, but just had more time and more just time to spend on getting me in everything. Played all the things. And
he probably knew you were going to be tall. I mean, you probably came out pretty tall.
Yes.
Right?
I was really tall.
So he's like,
growing
oh
up.
my gosh, we got to get her into some stuff.
I played, my dad would always, he ran 9 holes every morning for golf. He would speed golf. He'd run, hit, run. That was his workout every day. So I'd play golf with him. That was like my first sport.
I love it.
She should have played. She could have played in college.
Yeah.
But she chose soccer instead.
Golf? You could have golf.
I got actually recruited. BYU recruited me when I was in 8th grade to play.
No way.
Yeah. And then when I was getting ready my junior year to start as goalie, they asked me to come play again that spring or that winter before.
In college,
yes.
Then they asked you again.
And they asked me again. And I was getting ready to start. And I was like, no, Jen would not, we can't do that. Goalie, that's a lot. And then I ended up breaking my leg that year.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I was like, oh, dang it.
Golf would have been a lot less harsher on your body, right?
Have done it, yeah. So, but,
hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah. We love it. We played last night with our kids, so.
I love that. See, and that's something, golf is a lifelong sport.
Yeah,
something you can carry with you forever.
Totally.
So, Hilary, you played soccer for BYU, but before that, you were first team All-State at Orem High School, defensive MVP, Region 7 MVP, started varsity as a freshman. You're a big deal.
No.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
What's one thing you learned playing soccer and sports in general that you want your kids to learn? You mentioned you're watching Taika play soccer, but what's something you want them to learn that you feel like has really stuck with you?
Oh, man. Sports is, I think, one of the greatest teachers in life, I like to say. But I just love the discipline that it takes. If you really want something bad enough, you're going to do everything you can to make that work. But also, I love the team aspect of sports. And not all our teams, but just how to be coachable, how to be a team player, all those things. It takes a lot. So Tyke has a lot to learn. I love the team aspect of it.
Yeah. And Bronson, sports runs in your blood. You made it to the highest level of football. What do you feel like sports taught you that you want your kids to embrace as well?
Oh, man. There's so much, honestly. I think one of the biggest things is how to overcome adversity, just because sports, every day you're facing adversity. And then also I think if they can learn really, how to be a great teammate, like what Hilary was talking about, I think it's just so important, because for the rest of their lives they're going to be a teammate, whether it's a teammate at work, a teammate in their marriage, a teammate, and I don't know, there's so many ways that you're a teammate, and everyone that plays sports knows there's some great teammates and there's not some. And then there's some teammates that aren't that good. Right. So it's like, okay, how do I become a great teammate? And it just will translate into everything that they do. And so being able to take, overcoming adversity, becoming a great teammate. And then I would say also just the whole mindset side of it, where you're taking, an athlete who it's all right. Maya's cute.
Intermission.
I love those baby noises so
much. But I would say, I think the last part is just, the mindset side. Athletes will consistently have to, train their mindset, train the mental side of the game. It's just part of it, and I think it's important because they, outside of the game, everything else, you're taking your mindset with you. So it's how can I, and it's kind of the stuff I've already talked about is mindset, but like, I think one of the biggest things is like, okay, how can I face every day with the same enthusiasm and excitement, even when things aren't going my way? Or how do I handle success? How do I set a goal, chase it, and that goal is years away. And it's just that daily, consistent effort where, as you get older and you play more sports, right, you realize, the physical stuff's the easy stuff. It's the mental side of the game that is the hardest part.
Yeah.
you served a mission in New Zealand, right?
Yes.
So we recently had Connor Pay, who's the center for the football team right now, and his brother Trevor come on the show. And he mentioned how his mission translated over to sports, because he said you have, I can't remember his quote, but it was so funny and so accurate. He was like, you have like 50 great days, and then you have like 500 days that just absolutely suck. But you have to just, it's that daily grind. Would you agree that that translates to sports? That's like what you learned on your mission helped you mentally when you entered the collegiate sports world?
Yeah, definitely. I would say as a missionary, I mean, it's one of the hardest things that you encounter at that point in your life, coming right out of high school. And it's also the greatest thing at the same time, because you see, I mean, you're able to, you know, really see faith in action where, I mean, you out there as a missionary, your faith is in the daily grind. It's in the process of continuing to go even when, you know, maybe no one wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, my mission, I had people, you know, not want to talk to me. I got spit on. I got kicked out, like chased off. I've been, you know, you face these tough things. But it's like, okay, you know, that's an opportunity to remember your purpose, why you're there, what you're doing. And you're right. It only takes one person as a missionary to change their life. And in turn, it changes your life. And so I think the same thing in sports. You know, you're doing, your every day it's a battle. And so the consistency of a mission where you're following a schedule, you're away from your family, you know, it's just you, your companion, the Lord, and the people in your area. It's a great training ground for the mental side of sports. And for me, I feel like that's definitely an edge that you have, because you know, you come home from your mission and everyone's like, man, you seem older. And it's like, well, I just face things that not every high school kid coming out faces for the last 2 years. And I absolutely agree. I think missions definitely help on that mindset side for sure.
I love that you brought up that being a teammate helps you be a teammate just in life, whether it's in marriage or whatever. And Hilary, do you agree with that? Do you feel like what you learned from sports, being a teammate, has helped you in your marriage?
Oh, totally. Because I think a big thing with the teams that I have been on was communication. And like, obviously you have to communicate and talk about the sport, but if there's problems that arise with some of your teammates, you have to learn how to communicate with them, you know, for the better of the team, winning and whatever. And that's just the same with marriage, is you got to communicate to win, you know. It's win in your marriage, win in life, and especially, so definitely with the communication.
You learn to have hard conversations. Yeah. There's a lot of ups and a lot of downs like there in sports. It really does translate into so many things. Yeah. I want to talk about your guys' BYU time for a little bit. You obviously met at BYU while playing your respective sports. Hilary, when did you first hear about Bronson Kaufusi?
So it was August, or sorry, my baby has the
She's fine.
It was August, I think. Yeah, we had the what was it? Like a fall camp kickoff where they had Costa Vida or whatnot, and I was sitting there with Tui Crichton and Brandon Davies and two of my teammates, and I saw Bronson from across. I had no idea who he was at all. He went to Orem High. I went to Timpview.
I mean, I went to Timpview.
Sorry.
You went to Orem
Strike
High.
that.
Straighten that out real fast for us.
And then I was like, I talked to Brandon, and I was like, who is that? And he's like, that's my friend Bronson. And then he's like, Bronson, come over here. So I was like, oh no. So that's kind of that was my first encounter with Bronson. I didn't know who he was before.
You just noticed
which is crazy, because we had a lot of mutual friends and in high school, and we were kind of, I like to say rivals, but I don't know if Bronson thinks Orem High was a rival of his, but you know, I never lost to Timpview, so I guess, you know. But that was my first encounter with Bronson.
Bronson, same for you. When did Hilary cross your radar? So obviously that was your first meeting.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever saw her.
When was it? When was it that you were like, okay, I kind of want to start dating this girl?
Well, first off, it had this is actually pretty funny. So that happened literally the next day. The next day.
The next day I was on his radar.
The very moment after I locked eyes with her, she's on the radar. I walk into our defensive line room for film because we had practice the next day, right? And I walk in there and there's Hilary on the screen, and I'm like, her Facebook page. And my dad's my coach, and so of course everyone went and told my dad.
Love Steve.
So Coach Kaufusi
stalking me over there.
Yeah, he was like, all right, everyone, let's take a look at this Hilary girl right here. Bronson was talking to. Everyone's telling me about so then
word travels fast around the
my goodness
athletic building.
It was pretty funny, and he was like, okay, looks like she's an athlete. That's a good thing. Looks like she's pretty tall. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's pretty.
Your dad.
It was pretty funny. So yeah, from there, then we met up. I think
as
we're
much
ice
as we
creamers.
could. Just
really.
with fall camp starting and sports, but
yeah, it's kind of funny though.
Busy schedules, but you made it happen.
We made
Hilary,
it happen.
at what point were you like, I'm gonna marry this guy?
Oh my word! I think I was
She's still questioning. She's
like, whoa, have I come to that point?
Why did
I don't even know. I think we were at one of my teammates, Kayla. Her mom and I were at, and Kayla were at In and Out, and we were chatting and I think were you there?
No.
I think.
Oh yeah, I showed up.
Yeah, and he went and grabbed like a burger or something. We're already sitting outside and Liz is her name. She goes, "You're gonna marry that guy," and I was like, "Oh no, I think I might."
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It was
gotcha,
I think it was around Halloween time, and I was like, "Oh no." So probably a couple months into us dating.
Yeah.
And I think my parents, the first day Bronson came and picked me up for our date, my parents like, "Oh no. We're in trouble.
She's gone.
We're in trouble."
Gotcha again.
He has this such, amazing presence that just kind of captivates people, and obviously it captivated me, but it captivates anyone he comes in contact with. So, it was an easy yes for me.
I love that. What about for you, Bronson? I got to hear it from you. At what point were you like, I'm going to marry Hilary?
Oh man, that's a good question. Oh man, I always felt like. Man, I would say I kind of knew. For a while. Once you got the approval from Big Steve, then Coach Kaufusi, and the teammates. No, I felt like I always kind of knew. I was like, oh, I think we're gonna get married if she says yes. It's everything in life comes down to Hilary though in our relationship.
That's right.
If she says yes or no, she has to say yes or no.
I'm the silent hammer behind Bronson. Right
here. I love it.
That is true. But I felt like I always kind of knew.
Yeah.
But I would say, man, it's hard to name an exact moment.
Yeah, it's okay if you're always had it in the back of your mind. Like, I think this is it.
Yeah, I think this is it.
From the day you saw me.
There you go.
I have this vague memory because I was a sideline reporter for football then and women's soccer.
Yeah.
And I remember your wedding. I remember the whole this was like BYU royalty thing happening, and it was a big deal when you guys got married.
Yeah.
Hilary, I need you to be honest here though. You married into a large family, physically and otherwise, of well-known athletes. Mm-hmm. Coach Steve, Michelle, later to be mayor of Provo, as in-laws. Whoa. What was going through your mind when you first started spending time with the Kaufusi family?
Oh, man.
I know what you're going to say.
Oh, no. What are you going to say?
You're going to say, they eat so much food. That's what she's
That's true. That is true. There's
not surprised.
Tons of food, tons of candy. I think I gained a couple pounds, and I was like, oh my gosh, with all this candy, Michelle bakes treats and all this stuff
all the time.
It was definitely. Now looking back, I'm like, wow, it was kind of intimidating, definitely. But it was nice because I'll go back to the siblings thing. Me being the youngest, Bronson has 3 younger siblings. Corbin was on his mission when we actually got married. But it was nice just seeing his younger siblings, Daryl and Devin, grow up, and they took a liking to me. So I was like, okay, I have an in with the younger siblings. And Alexis actually helped set us up. with
really?
one of my teammates, Baz, or Ashley Bazzaroni, and they kind of got the ball rolling for us. I was like, okay, we got an in there, but no, it was great. It was great. Had some ups and downs. Bronson's definitely like a very prized, not possession, but he is. Everyone loves Bronson. You know, he just came home from his mission.
They're protective of him.
Very protective.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I won everybody over, I like to say.
And
I'm very competitive, so I think Steve liked that. I was,
Hilary's always beating him and everything.
Competitive playing stuff, but no, it was great.
I
They're
love
very, very welcoming. I can't imagine my life without any of them now. It's been a long time.
I know. You're like the windy.
You're in the parade floats. I mean, you are. You're one of them.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? I don't know if you agree with this, Hilary, though. Being a mom of a boy, I'm like looking forward like years in the future, and I'm already protective of my boys.
Totally.
So you almost get it a little more. But I'm like, okay, don't be that psycho mom.
Definitely.
Like you gotta
definitely
rein
get
it in.
it.
But it's crazy.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, you totally get it. They're like, oh, you're their little buddies.
Yeah, you're like, but I'm the woman in your life. All right, guys. So you obviously BYU has to be important for both of you. That's where you met. You played collegiate athletics, and it's a very unique place. Bronson, what impact would you say BYU had on your life?
Oh man, so much. It's always interesting because my dad, he coached at University of Utah for 10 years, and then he came to BYU, and during my recruiting process, he'd always say, "Hey, if I wasn't coaching here, I'd still want you to come to BYU." And I was, as a kid, I'd always be like, "Wait, what? Why?" Like, I felt like wherever you were coaching, that's probably where I would go.
Yeah.
And after going to BYU and having the BYU experience, I understand why now. Just because at BYU, you learn that you want to be excellent in everything you do, which is important, but things that really last forever, like that's what's important in life. And so I love how BYU, as an athlete, it's so much bigger than sports. It's about who you're becoming, the direction you're heading, your family, it's just making the most of every opportunity. I loved the spiritual aspect, being able to, before you do meetings or even workouts, like, we're having prayers, which I think is important because at the end of the day, I always felt like, and my dad would always say, football is just, it's just something we do. It's not who we are. And I love that about BYU. I love how it's bigger than football. It's bigger than sports. And because at the end of the day, sports is just a small portion of your life. And so if you go to a school where it doesn't help you prepare for really the majority of your life, then it makes it tough. It's a lot harder on you. So I love how BYU is able to really help you become who you're meant to be. And every athlete's so much bigger than sports.
Bronson, you've talked about this in like other podcasts of how your parents were pretty strict growing up. You had a lot of rules. What were some of those rules? Like, what are some of those things that they made you do? I know there was one like cell phones. They had to be plugged in their room, right?
Yeah. They took the phones at night.
I heard your mom made you, like, you won the state championship, and she made you come back and scrub the floor, right? Because you didn't do it.
Yeah, you have to do. Friday chores. That's what they were called. And someone had the toilet in the bathroom, and the whole thing, and then someone else had to do the family room. Because all the boys, we all of our rooms were downstairs, so that's what we were in charge of. And so it was we all knew that if these chores weren't done, we were not going. We were not going to go hang out with our friends. So even if it was like late at night, and I want to go hang out with my friends, or I want friends to come over, I would be in there. And sometimes I'd have a friend over already.
They're helping you do your chores.
And they'd help me do my chores to get them done.
Like,
hurry, come on, let's go. So literally, I'd have like 3 guys in there, and we'd get it done super quick. So, but yeah, there was a lot of actually really good things, actually. Like, if I wanted to go do anything when it came to money, like go to the movie or go to shopping at the mall, like I had to earn the money. So I worked at Days Market. If you know where Days Market is in Provo.
Yep.
Shout out Days Market.
Staple.
I was Employee of the year. No, I'm just kidding. Self-given.
Self-titled.
Yeah, so every time I walk in there with my kids, I'm like, guys, this is my first workplace.
And they're like, I bagged groceries. Yeah.
I love it there. I loved it there. So yeah, did that. We cut down trees, mowed lawns. Babysitting was my first job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not in your, was it your own siblings or
other people's?
Other kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Other people's.
Wow.
Even Hilary says wow to that.
I was like in 6th grade.
That's crazy. Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
sixth grade was my first time. So, but yeah, pretty much, yeah, my mom, I felt like she was really good at, and like after dinner, like everyone better be in there cleaning up. Like someone's doing the floor, someone's doing the dishes, like everyone had jobs. But it was good though, because you understand, back to teamwork. You learn, that's where you first learn about how to be a great teammate is inside the home. And so,
right.
I was always grateful for all the hard stuff and that my parents had us do. We did a lot, which I'm grateful for. It just prepared us for doing hard things, which is one of our sayings, our Kaufusi family sayings is we do hard things. So
I love that. What about you, Hilary? Were your parents pretty strict growing up or not really?
Not really.
Because you were kind of like the, quote unquote, only child.
Hilary got it
time,
easy.
their
parents were tired.
They're like, I don't care what you do.
I know my sister left the house when I was like 6 years old, something crazy. So half the bedrooms in the house were so clean. No one
Hilary's
was in there,
second and third
unoccupied. Yeah.
For her dolls. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously. And so, no, I've always been very detail oriented. I like a clean space.
Yeah.
I'm very organized. I probably my dad's really like that. So I think picking up on that, but my parents weren't really strict. It's like they give me, and I'm like to say I'm a very obedient child.
Yeah. You're an old soul.
I am an old soul. Like when Bronson first met me, he was like, I was 18, and he thought I was older than him. Like just I've always just kind of been.
She's like 28.
An old soul. I think just growing up with older people. Like
right.
Everyone was adults in my house growing up, so
they didn't need to implement all those rules on you because you were more self-motivated.
Yeah,
like,
I just kind of did my own thing. I cleaned my room myself, like whatnot. So yeah, not really strict. I was just
you were just obedient and good.
Obedient, good child.
She is. That's very true.
Hilary, what's one of your favorite family traditions growing up that you want to implement into your own little family?
Oh, that's good. I know. I'm like, what are good ones? I haven't even thought about that.
And Bronson, you can, while she's thinking about it, you can answer the same thing.
I would say, Christmas Eve dance parties.
That's your
Eve
family.
Dance parties.
That's your
Kaufusi Christmas Eve. There's a dance party always going on.
Bringing the house down.
No, seriously, it's loud. The walls are shaking as we kept getting bigger and bigger. We have a lot of fun. We always, family's been the central, focus, right? And we just do everything together. So I would say one of the traditions that I've always loved is, we go on vacation with each other for, in the year with everyone, which is fun for a week or two. And it's good to just have time with each other to hang out and be competitive.
Especially now that everyone's getting older and has their own families.
Yeah.
And
we do Sunday dinner.
Yeah, Sunday
every single Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Which is kind of rare.
Which is rare.
Oh,
for families.
For sure is.
Everybody comes.
Everybody
all
comes.
All 5 kids, which
really?
is crazy.
Yeah, we all come. Yeah, we do. What also really, it's not really tradition, but it's more just like part of the Kaufusi culture, I guess, is, when someone has something going on, like a sporting event, like everybody shows up.
Yeah.
So I love that aspect. But yeah, family's always been like number one for us. No matter what. So I think, we have like holidays are
I know,
crazy.
I'm like trying to think
holidays are crazy. There's just there's so much food.
Yeah,
there's
it's
so
all
much.
food.
It's all about
we
food.
We already have
like,
the food planned for this Christmas. Your mom.
And are these
planned.
including like your extended family, or is this just your immediate family?
This is our immediate family, but then we go to my mom and dad's. My mom has a family party. My dad has a family party. There's like So it's like we have to pick and choose what we're going to, you know, just because there's so many parties because everyone's here in Utah. So my dad's family is mainly up in Salt Lake, and my mom's family is here in Utah County. So there's always parties going on. There's always, you know, especially, and then like things with church, you know, if there's a baby blessing for church or there's a baptism, I mean, you know, the group chats are going wild. Everyone's coming. Everyone's bringing something. What do I bring? But I love it because I feel like that's how it's supposed to be. You know?
Yeah. And with us living, you know, we were on the East Coast for 7-8 years. We missed, you know, all the family things. And now that we have kids, it's like, okay, we're back and doing all the things. Yeah.
But back to Hilary's, you know, Hilary talked about the siblings, like having younger siblings. Well, like you go, you know, Tongan culture, everyone's a cousin, right? So then I'm one of the older cousins. Like I think I'm number 4 or 5, and you know Hilary's like back to her being Wendy, like Peter Pan. Like she's like the Wendy. Everybody loves Hilary. I have so many little cousins that all love Hilary. Like you have Isaiah's younger than me, Jackson, their whole family. Guys. You have all my dad's side that are younger. Yeah. And you know, and my mom's side, like, so it's fun. You know, I remember, it is a funny story. I took Hilary to the first family, on my dad's side. Big get-together at the chapel. It's full of people. Everyone's everywhere. Intimidating. Hilary was intimidated.
All the Tongan family. And his mom's the oldest.
My grandma.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like, your dad's mom is the oldest, so she's like...
She's the boss.
She's the boss.
Wow. So if you don't impress her, you're done.
Done.
Yeah, friend. I remember. I was like, man, she seems a little nervous walking in here. Like, you know, I was like, don't worry, everyone's nice.
With Bronson, I'm like, oh gosh,
everyone's nice. Yeah, I think
that was great.
No, yeah. So
the golden child.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was fun. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
What you guys seems like you both have incredible families. I know the Kaufusis. Just seriously, the royalty of Provo. I mean, you guys just are. It's amazing. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have more from Bronson and Hilary Kaufusi. You're listening to Royal Legacy.
And now back to Royal Legacy and your host, Lauren McClain.
Welcome back to Royal Legacy. I'm Lauren McClain. I'm here with wife and husband, former BYU soccer goalie Hilary Kaufusi, and former BYU football and NFL defensive end Bronson Kaufusi. Bronson, you were a star on the football team, but also played on the basketball team here at BYU with Tyler Haws, Brandon Davies, who you knew, Hilary, and Matt Carlino. What's one of your favorite memories from your very short stint on the BYU basketball team?
Oh man, probably when we were at Gonzaga and we're at the hotel doing our stretch, and we planned out mine and Hilary's engagement together.
That's right.
Me, Brandon, Tyler.
Really? Oh,
and they were all part of it actually.
Yeah, they were.
We let's see, Brandon was the driver.
Yep.
I think Tyler was. They're all dressed in suits.
Yeah,
it was
hilarious.
That's right.
They put out a red carpet. It was hilarious, but that was funny. That's just a side note, something funny. But I would say, memory-wise, I mean, you know, basketball. It's funny because like growing up, I played with all those guys. Like I was a basketball player before I was a football player. I had basketball offers before I had football offers.
Wow.
Like weirdly enough, and I almost didn't play football in high school, but I loved, you know. I like playing in the Marriott Center is actually pretty awesome because it is so full. And as a football player, it's weird because Edwards Stadium is so much bigger.
Yeah.
But as a football player, you're kind of out there in the middle, and everything just kind of washes out. But as a basketball player, at the Marriott Center, it's on top, and they can see your face.
Yeah.
They can see
your sweat.
All your literally you run into people sometimes on the sidelines and stuff. But I always loved. You know, playing at the Marriott Center with all the fans, and after the game, I'd come see Hilary, and she was probably her hands were always sweaty after because she's so nervous.
Well, because Bronson came in, you know, right out of football.
I'd been home for like 4 months from my mission.
Yeah, and people wanted him in the game. You hear Kaufusi chants, like, get him in the game. And he was like the
Dave
enforcer.
Rose was like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
No, seriously, that's how I felt the first time you put me in. I was like, you can put me in right now?
Like, put Kaufusi in. Like, you know, the Marriott Center erupting. So that was so fun.
That's cute. And it's got to be the Kelly Olynyk.
Oh,
memory,
yeah.
right? I mean, that's got to be up there. Seeing how far he's gone, right, in the NBA, that's got to be one of your top memories.
Oh, that was fun. That was hilarious.
So cool.
Fun. Yeah.
Bronson, you decided to focus on football, ended up being drafted in the 3rd round by the Ravens. Hilary, I want to know what was going through your mind when you knew Bronson's NFL dreams were becoming a reality.
Oh, I mean, just seeing his work ethic and all the time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears he put into, you know, seeing him in college and training for the NFL. I was so happy for him. It was such an accomplishment, and he's so humble about it. He didn't want to have a little party or anything. It was just, you know, back to work type thing, and just the love of the game. I think it was just so fun and such a fun time for us. And we were like, Baltimore.
Here we go.
Hairspray. That's the only thing I knew of, like, you know, the play.
Good
Morning Baltimore. And my friends from soccer are on the East Coast. And so we were like calling, like, you're going to be close to us. You know, it was so much fun.
That's so cool.
Such a fun time, and just so proud of him. It was a good moment.
I'm sure your eyes were wide open once you got to Baltimore. Bronson, you ended up playing
Provo to Baltimore.
Yeah, seriously. For the Ravens, Jets, and Packers, how did you balance faith, family, and football during that time?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the order that it goes in for me. Faith is first, and, you know, relationship with God, and followed by family, and then football. And I've always believed, you know, if I keep that the order, and that's how my parents have always, you know, I've just for years, you know, hey, you got to make sure your faith is right. That's the first thing you got to take care of, and then everything else will just work out the way it's supposed to. And you know, for me, when I was in the NFL, like a lot of people ask me, okay, like, how did you do your church calling, and how did you know, all these different things. And I just did it as much as I could, honestly. Like, I tried not to, if I could go, I was there. And I know on like Wednesday nights practice would end, and then I'm in the car heading straight to the chapel for young men's and youth night, and be there for a couple hours, being there with all the members. And it was a lot of fun. You know, I think that's one of the coolest things about the church. I remember when I went to the Jets, I looked up on the church website who the bishop was in the area, and it was Bart Oates, who played at BYU.
Yeah.
And so I called Bart up. I'm like, hey, Bart, how's it going? I just moved into this area. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know who you are. I know you came here to play with the Jets. And he's like, yeah, I remember. He remembers Brian Kill, and he remembers being out there with the Giants. And and so it was really awesome, just because no matter where you go, you always have a family. And I think that's what's really cool about the church. And it was great to just get integrated immediately. And, you know, you immediately have people that you can ask questions to about, you know, doctors in the area, all these little things that you don't really think about, but you worry about, you know.
True.
Totally. Yeah. Especially when you have kids, when you start having kids and things, it's, you know.
Okay, how are we going to make this work? Hilary, how did you make life work when Bronson was in the NFL? Because that means a lot of change for you that you don't have any control over.
Yeah. I mean, football-wise, it was definitely very scary that September 1st, you know, cut off to make the roster, if you're moving, if you're not.
Yeah.
But something that I did before we even moved to Baltimore, I got a job out there.
Really?
And I started working, and that was probably one of the biggest blessings, just to like start working and have this, you know, local perspective, and have these people there that I was friends with just kind of integrate me to the city, and it was a blast. Plus you have all the wives and the girlfriends, and, you know, that was another fun thing. People like memories, all, you know, and girls that I still talk to this day, you know, and kind of you're a little family and you have each other's back and looking out for each other. But yeah, got a job, got integrated. It was a blast.
What did you do?
I worked at Lululemon.
Did you really? That's great.
There was actually two other girlfriends that worked there, and it was awesome. A blast. Yeah, it was a blast.
I'm sure if they like advertised NFL wives work here, there'd be so many people that came in.
People come into the store, yeah, for sure. It was great. It was a fun time.
Bronson, you had some cool experiences. Christian, how do you pronounce his name?
Uphoff, yeah.
Yeah, you helped him become a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You had Aaron Rodgers, when you were at the Packers, say, our tight end, Bronson Kaufusi. I love him, one of the happiest guys ever. I want to know, how do you share your happiness that even Hilary has mentioned that kind of radiates that people grasp onto?
You know what? I really believe that it's just back to what we talked about, faith, family, football. I mean, that happiness starts with faith. And so everything I do, it's sprouting from that. So it's hard to hide that when it's just a part of really who you are. I feel like that's like always been the core, my core belief is, having that faith. And then from that faith, you prioritize what's important, and people can feel that. They know that. And it's funny just because, when I first was in the NFL, I felt like, I felt like, I'm just trying to fit in, do, and kind of, and then as time was going on, I'm like, okay, what actually, what? Really, I don't need to do that. This is who I am. Yeah. Like, I'm happy, go lucky, and I have fun every day, everywhere I go. I'm trying to live life to the fullest, and I love helping people, and not stress-free, but I would say you're just full of joy and happiness, full of gratitude, honestly, for just the opportunity to even be here, right? And I felt like, when I was on the different teams, as I was living that way, people take note, and they just are like, oh, what's different about you? Like, there's something, they just don't know. And then people start asking me, and Christian was like, man, because people were asking me like how I was older in the league, and they're like, man, you should have 2 more years. Like, you're this old. I was 30, and they're like, man, you should have another 2 years, and instead of 6 years at the time. And they're like, you should be 8 years. And Christian's like, yeah, why is that? And I said, I went on a church mission, and I was telling everyone about it. And for me, like, I love talking about, my faith and what I believe in, and why I am the way I am, and why there's no bad days. And I think it's refreshing in that arena, just because it's so competitive, and people are,
on edge all the time.
Literally 20, the moment you, in the season, it's like the moment you wake up, even before you go to bed, you're on edge. And then you wake up, you're on edge, because every day you're touching the edge of competition, greatness, and everything matters. So it can change people, and people sometimes, they don't actually rely on their strengths, and they don't rely on their true authentic self, which actually makes them a better player if they can be that. And so I feel like the greatest leaders in the NFL understand that, and they want you to be your true authentic self. And when you are, they know you'll be at your best, and you can help the team be at their best. And so for me, it's faith, family, football.
I love that. Hilary, what would you say is your lasting memory of that NFL period that you guys had as a family?
Oh, man. Well, first off, it's NFL stands for not for long. It's just that like small portion in life, but it was so much fun. I loved all of our time in the NFL. The ups and downs, the scary moments, faith, family, football. Like, Bronson had tons of injuries, growing together. I had a scary thing happen with me with my health, but just the memories, and just growing, and the people and the connections and the places. Like, who would have ever thought Hilary from Orem, Utah moves out to Baltimore, Maryland? And just places that I never ever thought I would ever get to experience. I have, and I've loved it, and those places have such a special place in my heart, and just all the memories. It was such a fun time.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I feel like both of your attitudes and like your sense of adventure is how you made it work, right? Would you agree with that? Oh, yeah. Like, you're like, hey, let's just live. Let's just.
And I love football.
Yeah, and I love football. That helps.
I love football. It was funny because we had we were at the Jets at the time, and we had Taika, and he was probably May, June, July. He was probably 4 months old, and I'm sitting up there on the club level, which there's TVs everywhere, and I have my feet up with my French fries, and I'm nursing Taika. And all these Jets fans are like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, you know, as Jets fans can be, you know, they're like, why are you here? You know, and I'm like, my husband plays on the team, you know, like,
and then were they like, oh, sorry.
That, like, I'm here to support, you know, it's just moments like that, taking our kids out there, and it was just such a fun time. So, yeah.
So awesome.
An adventure for sure.
Well, you guys are incredible. I learned so much from you. Thank you so much for taking the time with me today, especially with your busy schedules and your children. You guys are incredible. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks again to Bronson and Hilary Kaufusi for coming on the show with me. Carter Bond and Tori Kimball helped produce this episode with senior producer Terry South. You can join the Royal Legacy wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, or on BYUradio.org. Royal Legacy is a production of BYU Radio.